So we're going to start chapter 26, which is going to cover the digestive system. So this first section, section 1, we're going to be taking a look at just the main functions of the digestive system. We're going to go through and take a look at, of course, the organs of the digestive system and the tissue that makes up the digestive system and things like that. So first, let's take a look at just a general overview. So we know the reason why we take in food is mainly to get it to our the nutrients to our cells, so we can produce ATP. So that's what the digestive system is going to do. It's going to take that food that we eat, and it's going to break it down into something that can be absorbed and travel around in our bloodstream, which eventually gets to our cells. So that is going to be really the main function of the digestive system. So the organs that is going to make up that are going to make up the digestive system are going to be there for helping ingesting the food, break it down, mix it up. They're going to secrete different secretions like enzymes, and then after all is said and done, after all absorption has happened, we are going to get rid of the waste products after that. So the way that the chapter is set up is it's broken down into the upper and lower gastrointestinal tract. So that is section 2 and section 3. And then later on, we're going to take a look and see how these nutrients specifically are absorbed and where they go after that and their uses. All right, so the general functions, there's 6 main functions of the digestive system. So one of them is going to be ingestion. And basically what we're going to do here is we're going to take the food and we're going to kind of move it through our digestive system. So we're going to see how we're going to take it in, how it's going to move through, how it's going to be broken down, and then eventually it's going to be expelled through as waste products. So ingestion is going to be taking in any solid and liquid nutrients from the oral cavity. So this is going to be the key step, the first step in the process of digestion. And then we're going to be taking a look at, we do start to break down and digest foods here in the oral cavity as well. But we're not going to absorb any nutrients in the oral cavity. But again, we'll be looking specifically at what happens in each of the specific parts of the digestive system. We're just going to follow it on through with the different sections. So the second main function is going to be motility. This is going to be any kind of voluntary muscular contractions or involuntary muscular contractions that are going to help mix and move materials through the digestive tract. So this might be contracting the skeletal muscles that are responsible for chewing your food, or it's going to be responsible for those smooth muscle contractions that are going to help move and propel through food through the digestive tract. Secretion. This is going to be important for secreting enzymes that are going to be responsible for breaking down our nutrients, or bile, anything like that. So this is going to be that process of producing and releasing fluids that are going to help that digestive process. And now it's going to be digestion. Once we take in the food, once we have those secretions being introduced and mixed with our food, then now we can start digestion. There's actually a couple of different types of digestion. So the overall definition of digestion is the breakdown of ingested food into smaller structures. But we have 2 different types. We have a mechanical and a chemical digestion. So the mechanical digestion is going to be where we use different structures, different anatomical structures that are going to go in and break down big pieces of food into smaller pieces of food. But we're not going in and chemically changing the structure. We are just kind of physically changing the structure. So this is kind of like chewing. Whenever we chew, we mechanically digest our food. Now, chemical digestion is going to be where we have little enzymes or something like that that goes in and actually breaks chemical bonds of our nutrients. So that is going to be the main difference between the mechanical and chemical digestion. Is chemical is going to go in and break bonds and change that kind of chemical formulation of our nutrients. So once we're able to break it down, once we have digested the nutrients into the smallest possible chemical, then we can absorb those nutrients. So absorption is going to be where we transport, either through active or passive transport, those digestive molecules across the membrane, across the wall of the digestive tract, and we're going to get it into the bloodstream. But we'll also talk about how some nutrients actually go through the lymph first. We've actually introduced this in the lymphatic system with those lacteals, but we'll introduce it again at the very end. But we don't absorb only molecules of nutrients that we eat. We also, of course, are going to absorb electrolytes, vitamins that are going to be, all of the foods that we eat that are rich in vitamins, and water as well is going to be absorbed in the digestive system. And then, of course, anything that we don't absorb, anything that we don't need is going to be removed from the body. And that's what we will end with there. So let's take a look at the organization of the digestive system. So we are going to have, as you can see, this screen is split into two over here, or this figure, not the screen. You are going to have the actual gastrointestinal tract here, or the alimentary canal. That's another name for it, is alimentary canal. And what this is this is going to be a continuous tube that is going to start there at the oral cavity and go all the way down until you get to the anus. And what happens along the way is, of course, digestion. We are going to go in and chemically or mechanically break down food. And then, of course, we're going to absorb it after that. Everything on the other side is going to be accessory digestive organs. These are going to be organs that are going to assist in digesting the food, like they secrete an enzyme, or they secrete bile, or they mechanically help break down food. So this is something like the teeth and the tongue. They help mechanically break down food. Salivary glands, they secrete enzymes. Liver, it is going to produce bile. The gallbladder, that is going to concentrate the bile. And the pancreas is going to secrete even more enzymes. As far as looking at the different organs of the alimentary canal, or that gastrointestinal tract, it's going to be that continuous tube starting, like I said, with the oral cavity, and then it goes down to the pharynx, that long esophagus that connects to the stomach here. And then it's going to go through the small intestine, and then it's going to go through the large intestine, and then eventually it's going to go through the rectum and the anus after that.